Ladies and gentlemen, digital investors, welcome back to another video where we cover what is going on in the crypto space. And today we just have more and more bullish activity. I know, how could we have more bullish activity? We've been having all this good news come out for the past few days. Guys, there is even more today. So one of the first articles we'll be going over is MicroStrategy to buy more Bitcoin as its CEO owns 17,000 Bitcoin. So remember MicroStrategy? We've been covering them since the first Bitcoin purchase. I think they own I think it's something around 400 million in Bitcoin, 400 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. This article goes over that MicroStrategy is going to buy more. And did you know that its CEO also owns his own personal stash? That personal stash being 17,000 Bitcoin. We're also going to go over some Stellar, Lumen, and IMF to work on these goals to foster adoption. As you guys may or may not know, the CEO of Stellar was recently at an event that was sponsored by the IMF. So very, very big stuff. We'll go over some of the things that they covered. We'll also have the Trump campaign website hit by hackers touting crypto scam. This happened yesterday for not too long. We'll touch on this briefly. And we also have Malaysian Securities Commission issues revised digital asset guidelines. And Ripple executive says payments for making strategic adjustments to boost XRP adoption and explains why the company is critical of Bitcoin. So with that said, if you are a normal viewer and you want to help support the show, a like supports it a ton. So thank you guys for that. And with that said, let's get right into this. So MicroStrategy, the American software firm that famously used its balance sheet to buy Bitcoin, has stated that more token purchases are in the pipelines and reiterated that BTC is its primary treasury reserve asset. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy's CEO, Michael Saylor, revealed that he has already spent around 175 million on his Bitcoin stash. So that's his own personal stash. That is quite insane. These guys are betting on Bitcoin heavy. In a Q3 2020 earnings call, the firm stated that its go-forward capital plan for the quarter ahead involved using Bitcoin as a primary treasury reserve asset, as well as purchasing additional Bitcoin with excess cash subject to market conditions and business needs. The fund stated that the move would be funded by the fact that it ended the past financial quarter with reserves of 52.7 million USD in cash and no debt. The move was part of its new treasury reserve policy, whereby we will hold excess capital beyond we need to run the business and for work and capital purchases, primarily in Bitcoin. Lee told shareholders, "You should expect that we will purchase additional Bitcoin as we generate cash beyond what we need to run the business on a day-to-day basis." Guys, so this means every bit of excess money that they have, right? Everything that they don't need to pay employees to put back in their business for reinvestments, all of that, as long as market conditions are good and they all agree on it, is going to be put into Bitcoin. Right now, why would they do this? Why would they be putting their money into Bitcoin? Because long term, they know dollar is going to be losing its buying power, while Bitcoin is going to be gaining mass buying power, right? It's going to be one of the best safe haven assets, right? Right next to gold, right next to silver. And we're hearing a lot of talks how Bitcoin is going to be better than gold, better than silver, and outperform it by a ton. So, it's kind of a no-brainer. When the dollar's devaluing, traditionally it's gold and silver, but now we have this new thing called Bitcoin, and people want to bet on it. The firm also confirmed the current state of its Bitcoin holdings, claiming that it has approximately 38,250 Bitcoin, which is worth in USD 519 billion, which it purchased for an aggregate price of around, get this guys, $11,111 per Bitcoin. Now, I know that's really weird, right? All ones across the board, but the main thing about that is they're getting their average Bitcoin for around $11,000. Isn't it weird knowing that you have a better buy-in price than MicroStrategy? I mean, I know some of you guys, maybe you bought the top, maybe you've bought at 15,000, whatever, but we've had a lot of time below 11,000. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video have bought 11,000 Bitcoin. I'm sure a lot of you have a dollar cost average on your Bitcoin that's lower than 11,000. So think about that. You have a better buy-in price than MicroStrategy. Think about that. Think about how much money, right? They've put in $519 million paying around $11,000 per Bitcoin. So where do they think Bitcoin's going to go? Do you think they'd make this big bet if they thought their investment would only go from 11,000 to 20,000? Or from 11,000 to 30,000? That's not really worth it. So where do these guys really think Bitcoin is going, and why are other companies starting to follow in their steps? They do give us some information that kind of hints towards a couple of reasons why. So Lee also added that his firm has seen notable and unexpected benefits from its buying Bitcoin strategy, which has elevated the profile of the company in the broader market and benefiting its reputation overall, raising mindshare among prospective customers. Think about that. Them buying Bitcoin is raising their reputation, whereas to just a couple years back, if you were buying Bitcoin, that would kind of diminish your reputation, right? It would kind of, people wouldn't take you serious. Like, you're investing in digital currencies, what's wrong with you? But now, I mean, they're literally saying they've had unexpected benefits of the reputation overall raising. That is insane. Michael Saylor claimed that the firm has no plans to sell its Bitcoin holdings on short notice. Absolutely mind-boggling, guys, that this company now owns more Bitcoin and they're just going to keep pooling all their excess liquidity into Bitcoin. So basically, they're not going to stop until market conditions are no longer great. Now, I'm interested to see, when is MicroStrategy going to deem market conditions are no longer valuable, right? Are they going to stop buying when Bitcoin hits 15,000? Are they going to stop buying at all-time highs? Will they stop buying at 30,000? I'm very interested to see when MicroStrategy will say, you know what, there's no more value here, right? There's no more. That's going to be a big thing to watch. One of these companies is going to say, you know what, we're not buying Bitcoin now, and they just, Bitcoin continues to rise, but corporations aren't buying it anymore, right? And I think it's something that if you want to be smart money in this bull run, we definitely need to watch. So, if you don't like tracking that stuff your own, don't worry, guys, hit subscribe. I'll cover it here for you. I'll try to keep you guys in the loop as much as possible. Now, let's move on. If you guys are enjoying the video, drop it a like. So Stellar, Lumen, and the IMF to work on these goals to foster adoption. Danelle Dixon, CEO of Stellar Development Foundation, shared her experience as a participant in the event Cross-Border Payments, A New Beginning, sponsored by the International Monetary Fund. Among its participants were the President of the Federal Reserve of the U.S., Jerome Powell, and the Senior Vice President of MasterCard. Dixon was part of the panel oriented to give participation to representatives of the private sector. Dixon highlighted the importance of the private sector as an engine of innovation for the future of cross-border payments. However, she said that the products and services that businesses develop require freedom and innovation. Her words are, "The private sector has long been a leader when it comes to offering new solutions and technological developments. However, it's important that private organizations build these products and services not only with the freedom to innovate, but with the intent on making them truly sustainable and practical for the end users." The CEO summarized the needs of the private sector in relation to cross-border payments and their development in innovation, competitiveness, and interoperability. In that sense, the results that companies can offer should be focused on the development of one use case and not on the technology. The CEO of the SDF outlined the three most important points that her company and the private sector must follow to drive the development of cross-border payments. Firstly, the technology layer, like Stellar or Ripple, must, quote, be user-friendly and improve on the existing rails. In addition, products should be interoperability focused to work with the current financial infrastructure rather than supplanting it, the CEO added. By consistently approaching solutions from a use case perspective rather than the technology itself and applying standards of interoperability, we can reduce friction for users and developers, create efficiencies resulting in decreased costs for developers and users, and enhance competition and innovation. Finally, the SDF CEO believes that regulation remains a central issue for the private sector and companies developing technology to drive progress in cross-border payments. Therefore, she believes it is necessary to build safeguards to protect users, companies, and institutions. Interoperability could be a key to achieving this. She believes that institutions will adopt Stellar Lumen's technology when they see how it improves the existing financial structure. She also adds, I reiterated that permissionless networks are the infrastructure layer that allows entities to build and innovate upon ideas ideas and products that will solve the lack of financial inclusion all over the world. These solutions will allow users to send payments via phone without a bank account and within 3 to 5 seconds. And that's just the tip of the iceberg for the potential created by open source networks. Very, very cool, guys. For those of you who didn't see that, didn't watch that video, or weren't there to attend, that is basically what went down and what Stellar had to say. And they got to present that in front of the IMF, attending with Jerome Powell, with the CEO of MasterCard, right there with a lot of powerful people. So very, very cool. All you Stellar holders, things are getting very excited for XLM. Now we'll cover this Trump campaign website hit by hackers touting crypto scam. U.S. President Donald Trump's campaign website was briefly compromised on Tuesday as hackers looked to fleece cryptocurrency from unsuspecting supporters in the final days before the 2020 election. The attack, which lasted less than 30 minutes, saw the website defaced with messages claiming the hackers had compromised information on Trump and his family. As reported by the New York Times, the hackers were soliciting donations in the Monero cryptocurrency due to its privacy-enhancing properties that make it hard to trace. The website is back to normal. As it says, it only lasted 30 minutes, and it goes over some other points. If you guys want to go over all these points, it's right on CoinDesk, or a quick little Google search, you could probably go over the entire thing. But just briefly covering, that's what happened. As you guys know, we also have the Twitter hack, right? We have these YouTube ads running that are doing hacks, so be very mindful of hacks. People are emailing people, trying to get you to upload your 24-word count for your ledger. It's just a mess. Be very, very, very careful, and never send somebody your crypto expecting double your crypto back, right? I mean, these things shouldn't have to be said, but unfortunately they do, because they're running so much, and sometimes people just make mistakes. So make sure you are very vigilant, because people want your money in this space. If you guys are enjoying the video, consider subscribing and hitting the bell, and you'll be notified every single day when I upload a video like this. If you guys could also do me a favor and like the video for me, it helps a ton with boosting it in the algorithm, and I appreciate any support that you guys choose to show the channel. Prices for today, we are, for the most part, pulled back, right? We're on a bit of a retracement. Bitcoin down from, I think it hit 13,800 yesterday. I haven't looked at a chart, but I glanced at my Blockfolio, and that's what I saw. That's the highest I saw it. Maybe it went higher, I'm not sure, but right now at 13.1, Ethereum at 386. So quite the pullback on Ethereum. XRP at 24 cents, Binance coin at $30, Chainlink $11, Polkadot $4, Cardano at 9 cents, EOS at $2, Monero at 128. We have Tezos at $2, Stellar just under 8 cents, and VeChain at 1 cent. Theta at 61 cents. Even Theta pulling back. Theta has been on an enormous run. IOTA at 26 cents. We covered IOTA yesterday. If you guys didn't see this video yesterday, I highly recommend you guys go check it out. If you're interested in the project IOTA at all, or just interested in where the future is going, I highly recommend you watch this, because IOTA is doing some crazy things in regards to smart cities and AI. It is absolutely insane, and we go over a couple diagrams on there. Our fear and greed index for today is at 70, so it is kicked up since yesterday, right? We had that little rally take place. Now we've had a pullback, so now maybe tomorrow we'll be going down on this scale. But think about this, guys. We're in between the levels of since last week to today, 61 to 70. So we're in between these levels of only 61 to 70, while Bitcoin sits at over $13,000. This is very nice to be seeing us not completely in greed, right? It's not extreme greed. We're not hitting that 80, 90 level, and we're still sitting at $13,000, which kind of shows me there is the possibility for more being left in the tank for Bitcoin, right? Not guaranteed, but the possibility is there. It's always great to be at high price points while you're not too high on the greed. Once things get really greedy, that's an indicator that tops are coming in. But right now on the fear and greed index, there's no indication that a top is coming in. And obviously that's one indicator. Do your own research, not financial advice, yada, yada. You guys get the deal. Malaysian Securities Commission issues revised digital asset guidelines. The Security Commission of Malaysia has issued revised guidelines governing digital assets effective as of October the 28th. The rule aims to promote responsible innovation in the digital asset space, while at the same time managing emerging risks and safeguarding the interest of issuers and investors. The issuance of these revised guidelines coincides with their enforcement and adds a requirement for IEO platforms to conduct due diligence on the issuer. This concludes a responsibility to assess the issuer's ability to comply with local guidelines on preventing money laundering and the funding of terrorism. Despite the aim to facilitate innovation in this place, the guidelines explicitly state digital currencies and digital tokens are not recognized as legal tender nor as a form of payment instrument that is regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia. Now, read that very carefully, guys. Digital currencies and digital tokens are not recognized as a legal tender nor as a form of payment instrument that is regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia. Doesn't mean digital currencies and digital tokens aren't legal tender. They are legal tender, right? People are using them, therefore they're legal tender. If people decide to use a certain form of currency, people are using it, then it's currency. It doesn't matter what it is, but they're not considering it currency because they are not regulating it yet, which tells you what? Once they are regulating it, it will now all of a sudden be legal tender and used as a form of payment, right? Just like all these countries have done, they backstep every single time. Maybe that's not exactly what Malaysia does, but it's just fun. If you just look at the wording, you can tell they're just saying, oh no, this isn't legal tender because we're not regulating it yet, right? Because they want their piece of the pie. I'm sure they will come around once all that regulation is set in place. It's kind of like, I feel like they're just trying to scare people out as much as possible while they work on regulation, and then one day out of nowhere their regulation comes out and people just eat up the price of Bitcoin and FOMO in. If we go move on, Ripple executive says payments firm making strategic adjustments to boost XRP adoption and explains why company is critical of Bitcoin. This is pretty interesting, guys. Ripple chief technology officer David Schwartz says the company is making strategic adjustments in an effort to bring the benefits of XRP technology to a wider swath of the population. A Twitter user recently grilled Schwartz about Ripple being aligned with big corporations rather than being aligned with the common man. The challenge for RippleX, XRPL Foundation, says David Schwartz, is to enable the common man to avoid getting shafted by the system. I see little progress in this regard. The Swift SDK is exceedingly limited. There are more than 200 open issues in GitHub for RippleD. Schwartz maintains XRP's systems are open to everyone and unable to be controlled by established institutions. Still, he acknowledges things have not been perfect. He says we're mostly working from the other direction, getting enterprises and institutions to use systems that are open to everyone and can't be controlled by anyone. That will add more value to those open systems, driving more people to them. But this has yielded results more slowly than we had hoped. Hence, the strategic adjustments with things like Xpring and RippleX. We are trying to do more. Schwartz also maintains Ripple doesn't want to align themselves with any entity or institution pushing for bans on certain blockchains or private financial solutions. Rather, he says they favor a robust and healthy blockchain ecosystem and says that they support Bitcoin. What he says is, we all love Bitcoin. We go after it only for two reasons. One is to fairly level set comparisons with XRPL features and technology, and the other is where there's regulatory favoritism. I don't believe any cryptocurrency or blockchain project can succeed by tearing others down. Just as internet companies need a healthy internet ecosystem with lots of successful players, so do blockchain companies. So he's basically saying that for all this, this mass adoption, right, this cryptocurrency, people got this mindset of one currency to rule them all. And David Schwartz is saying, and he's kind of said something similar in the past, but what he's basically saying is that this is going to work best if a lot of projects succeed, right? Have different players dominating different things in different niches, right? And you can all lean on each other and you build up an actual ecosystem, right? I feel like people don't value ecosystems anymore. People just want to monopolize, right? They want to own it all, monopolize it, control everything. Whereas an ecosystem provides for much better balance. Ripple advertises XRP's faster transaction settlement time than Bitcoin, as well as its sustainability. As we know, Ripple's been putting out a lot that they're a green currency, basically like taking hits at Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is, it takes up too much power, things like that. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you truly believe that XRP is a green currency? Do you think that's something that they just say as a selling point? Just curious what the digital investor community thinks. With that said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please drop it a like. It helps a ton. And consider subscribing. If you like daily cryptocurrency videos going over Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything that is going on in the space, hit subscribe, hit the bell. You'll be notified every time I upload. I'm probably going to have another video for you guys today, so stay tuned. I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, have a great day, everybody.